This is episode 76.
Welcome to the Ultimate Deck Podcast. Ultimate Deck Podcast. Helping you keep your finger firmly pressed on the decking industry, the people in it, and the information you need to master the backyard. And now, host of the Ultimate Deck Podcast, Shane Chapman.
Shane Chapman here with you today with Wade, best opening ever with Wade Laurent.
Touch of Irish there.
Was that Irish? Is that what that was?
Sha-sha-sha-sha-sha.
We were, oh yeah.
Shane Chapman.
Well, we got the right beverage in front of us to be Irish today.
They like Pile of Bones White APA.
So this sponsored / not sponsored, this episode. Not sponsored, but shout out to local brewery, Pile of Bones Brewing today.
Pile of Bones.
And a shout out to Ben from Modern Deck and Fence, who dropped off these fantastic Pile of Bones brews today. He must have known we were about to record a podcast. God, it is nice out, you guys. It's finally happened. I know I mentioned this last week a little bit, but yesterday was hit 27 degrees, which is, I don't know what that is, 85-ish, call it? Just what, 90?
Summer.
It's decent weather finally. And so the phone has started ringing and the sales are happening and all this whole panic that everybody had about not working. At least I should really put an asterisk beside this. At least in our area, everybody's settled back down because the phone's ringing. There's still some areas that are shut down and can't work, so I shouldn't rub that in or anything. But, but the weather's turned, and it turns out that maybe a lot of the slowness at the start of April was weather related and not so much,
I don't know. There was probably some uncertainty until the government.
Well, there was a little bit of both.
Like the government came out and
that's helping. That the freeze is lifting.
Like Oprah Winfrey. Right, it was like, and then you get a check, and you get a check, and you get a check.
Still going on.
And so, anyways, that happened, and so now everybody got checks.
That's what's happening in Saskatchewan. We are, things are slowly returning. I'm not going to say normal, but slowly the restrictions are lifting. That's starting to happen.
May 4th, Monday.
The weather has turned.
Yeah.
People are out shopping. Not out, but like people shopping. They're getting their deck stuff. Out. I'm going to say out.
Out and about.
More than they were before. And so things are happening. So that's fantastic. But I'm not so concerned with what's happening in Saskatchewan. I want to know what's happening in Simcoe. So let's get after that.
All right. So not like we're going to open this up. Not so fun, but there was 4 deaths in Simcoe.
Come on.
Yeah.
Wade.
And they were related to automatic assault weapon. No, COVID-19. They were related to COVID-19.
You ass. Don't make me laugh at a death headline.
Hey, if it bleeds, it leads, man. And so here we are. So there's some dead people in Simcoe.
Sitting here trying to enjoy my pile of bones.
And it was COVID that got him. Nobody's surprised. Also, the OPP. That's why we had the intro music, right? Is
that what was playing on the intro before we hit record? I wasn't even paying attention to what it was. But that's fantastic. You just booted the camera right out of...
All right. So OPP seized some guns, cocaine, fentanyl, and that was in Collingwood. So shit went down there, man.
I'm starting to wonder about this town.
Right?
Is this... So Simcoe
I think
County,
I need to go visit these
Is
people.
the major city in Simcoe County, is that Barrie?
Collingwood would be my guess. Anyways, I want to read more about this.
Mike's got to cue us in here. Like, what are the cities? Where are you, Mike?
Close this out. Simcoe.
So
is like
we've got the Instagram machine live here again, scrolling, so we can get some feedback from people as we go here. But Simcoe County news seems more depressing more often than not.
Well, that's because that's news, man. Who watches news? They don't. News is that way. When was the last time you tuned in to the 6 o'clock news? It's like, here's negative story, here's another negative story, here's
Barrie.
Followed up by another negative story.
I nailed it, Barrie.
Negative stories. That's what news is.
Fair enough. 85% of news is negative stories.
Who even turns that stuff on?
Why does anybody watch the news? That's just depressing.
Exactly. It was like...
It just puts everybody into a funk.
This is a true story.
150,000 people there, he says.
I phoned my mom.
Good-sized town.
I want to say 3 years ago or 4 years ago.
You phoned your mom 3 or 4 years ago?
And she
Tell me that's not the last time.
Look, I've called her a couple times since then. Right? I flew the coop.
I laugh, but it's
here we go.
I'm not any better.
No, you see your
I'm
mom all the
probably
time.
worse.
She looks after your kids. Hey, Mom, come on over.
Yeah, no.
But you don't call her. You text her, come to my house.
I just shout out my back door.
So anyways, I called my mom. It was a few years ago. And so we were on the phone and we're chatting away. And she's like, and then this person died. And then this person, their husband got sick. And then this person lost their business. And it was a blah, 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 blah. And so, so I said to her, I was like, Mom, we're going to end this phone call because I want you, when I call you, I want to hear good news stories. I don't want to be like, I don't want all the negative stuff. And so then she hung up. She called me back 3 or 4 days later. And she was like, you know what? I've reflected upon this conversation. You're absolutely right. She's like, that's what I do. I don't know why. And she's like, maybe it's a news thing. So now our conversations are a lot more like positive based. These are like, here's things that went right for people. So I went fishing and I did this holiday. And
yeah, you should take some of your own advice. And next time we do Simcoe News, find the good stories. Don't allow the media to control you and our audience.
OPP busting up this drug ring is a great story. So here we go.
Okay, well,
they took some drugs off the street.
Good. Took some drugs off the street.
1.4 kilograms of cocaine, 180 grams of fentanyl, 27 grams of mushrooms. So much fun. $27,000 in cash, 2 handguns, not registered, and ammunition.
That's a rough week for Mike right there to get your house raided like that.
Right.
Like, what do you got left if that all gets taken?
Should have registered your guns, buddy.
Oh, yeah. So in the what, you got more?
Well,
find
you're
right.
a positivity. Let's find a fun story.
Find a positivity.
Here we go.
So let's, you keep looking. I'm going to look back. We got some comments here.
On it.
New Tech Wood says that Barry is home in Napoleon. Is that Napoleon Grills?
Dynamite. Napoleon Dynamite.
Not Dynamite. If it's Dynamite, we're doing podcast on site.
Napoleon Dynamite is from there.
Napoleon Dynamite? What are you talking about?
Like the actor? The guy?
Oh, the guy?
Who wears his pants really high? Napoleon Dynamite. No? I'm just making this shit up.
Napoleon Grills? I don't know. Is Napoleon Grills a Canadian company? You're going to have to explain yourself on that. Andrew from Regal Ideas is tuning in to see what's happening in Simcoe, but he came in late and he missed the top 2 headlines. So,
can you believe these people are watching this stuff on a Friday night?
Yeah, well, the quarantine has been the best thing that's ever happened to the podcast. I'll tell you that. At least the Instagram Live part of it. Grills and Fireplaces. Yeah, see? I nailed it. Well, that's good to know that they're a Canadian company.
You're on fire. Hey, you're killing it today. Episode 70, whatever it was that you said earlier, and then Napoleon Grills, not Napoleon Dynamite. You're right today.
Yeah.
You should pick a lottery number. Tell these people what they are.
Nope. What do you got? One more headline. One more positive headline before we actually talk about what the topic is today.
Number 2 thing going on right now, a very beautiful building has been pitched. It is a 15-story apartment building complex across from Barrie City Hall. And so Woodridge-based Meridell Homes has purchased an L-shaped parcel of land at Mulcaster Street directly across from City Hall for $2.4 million. The deal closed in April. They're going to build a 15-story residential apartment building on site, and there's going to be some underground parking, and there'll be a gym. It's going to be like a great place to live.
You weren't supposed to read the whole article.
I wasn't. I skimmed it.
Okay. Well, that's good.
So that's a good news story, right?
There's a good news story.
You're in a recession-ish, and then new buildings are being built.
And then you read the next paragraph, and it's like, but City Hall's closed, so no permits, so no building.
See you in 11 years.
See you in a bit. Anyway. So there's an opportunity for Mike. Maybe he can go put some decks on that building. It won't be the kind he wants to do, but he can lay down some linoleum.
Yeah. Maybe he could grind down to nothing and put some aluminum railing on there that has like 1 mil thick walls on it.
Yeah. That was going to be the topic today, actually. Nice segue. Well done. So we were going to talk about railing today, but we're going to save that for next week because I'd like to get some feedback on what people want to hear about railing. Because I think that could be a potentially very boring topic to talk about. So if you're listening to this and you have some feedback on what you want to hear, because we had a couple people, I've got a good stutter going today. We have had a couple people say, you guys need to do an episode on railing because you talk about decking a lot, but you don't get into the railing stuff as much. And it's like, well,
they're right.
Yeah, they're right.
But then what do you talk about? It's like, there's aluminum or composite. One's amazing, one's crappy.
Yeah, so that's what we're fishing for now.
Nailed it.
Give us some, what do you actually want out of that railing episode? So
this has to be a 55-minute podcast about
Railing.
and 10 of it has to be solid content.
We're talking about railing.
And
We're not talking about the game. We're talking about railing. We're not talking about decking.
talking about
You're
railing.
here sitting here talking about railing. Like, railing. Not talking about the decking. We're talking about railing.
Not today. We're not.
You know what? Basketball's on my mind. That's the Allen Iverson thing, right?
Yeah, because it is
practice.
It has
We're talking about
broke
practice.
It broke Netflix right now. Basketball
Netflix is broken.
Has broken Netflix.
Yeah. What's it called? The Last Dance.
It should be called Crack.
Is
'Cause
anybody
I stand and I wait for Monday morning to come around? It's like, is it Monday yet? I'm like a 7-year-old waiting for Monday morning. Oh yeah. Speaking of that, I can't make it into work Monday morning.
Did you just call in sick, not sick for 3 days from now?
Listen, I think you should be prepared. I feel an allergy coming on.
You know that video? It gets posted early. Those new Netflix series, like we're getting the questions now about the aluminum railing. How are we not going to answer them now? The last time The Last Dance, the episode 3 and 4 got posted sometime overnight because when I woke up with a little kid at 6 a.m, they were already there.
Was it yours?
This time it was my kid.
Gotcha. There was a lot of segues in there. So
anyway,
Last Dance is
Last
the
Dance
story of Michael Jordan's dominance over the game of basketball.
Yeah.
And so we
specifically around their last year, not their last year. It didn't end up being their last year. It's around the 96-97 season, correct?
97, 98, I thought.
97, 98. So that was their last championship?
Championship. And it was like the coach is gone, Pippen's gone, Jordan's going to retire for the third time, whatever it was, however many retirements he had.
His best years were in a Wizards uniform anyway.
Easy. Half the world doesn't even know he played for the Wizards.
Right?
So anyways, we grew up in that era, right? We watched basketball.
We lived through it. We grew up more recently. Some would say not yet.
I was like, hey, this is an argument. So I lived in a town of 500 people in rural Saskatchewan. I have never played a single game of basketball. I can't bounce it. Some people call it dribble it. I know for sure that it's bouncing the ball. I can't do that. There's no shooting, no dunking. None of that can happen in my life. And I owned a Chicago Bulls starter jacket.
Oh, yeah.
Because Michael Jordan was so dominant in the game that he had a country kid in southeast Saskatchewan cheering for him and watching basketball. And so, I forgot how amazing he was until I started watching this Last Dance. And it is unbelievable how good he was.
Yeah. And I lived through that era actually watching, because I was big into basketball at that time, playing and watching, and was very much involved in that. And even I forgot, or maybe didn't realize at the time, how good they were. And now so I guess for the 3 people in the world that haven't heard about this yet, this is the next Tiger King's, it's on its back, the back half of the curve, right? Tiger King, everybody's watched Tiger King now. This now has become the next Netflix thing.
Carol Baskin did kill her husband.
And
fed him to the Tigers.
Right. And made Jordan retire.
Carol Baskin did not make Jordan retire.
At least one of the 3 times it was her
Carol
fault.
Baskin did it.
So this is the next big series, docuseries on Netflix that people are blowing up about, and it's fantastic. I don't care if you watch basketball or not. The stories about each player, they've kind of gone, I don't know, we're 4 episodes in, and so far each episode's kind of focused on one of the starting players or coaches, and super cool storylines. I just it's got me right back into basketball again, just watching this thing. I'm so pumped up to watch it, and I just wish that team was still together. I just wish that you could watch them play again. But you can't.
So I want to see them do a story like that with the 80 Oilers, right? So but I actually think there might be too much cocaine out there, used in that series. With the 80s,
Oilers
with the 80s Oilers, absolutely. Grant Fuhrer, right? Have you seen the memes of the Cookie Monster that pounds his head into it? I think that was Grant Fuhrer actually inspired that. So. Right. When they went to the hotel room and he's like, and I was a rookie and I walked in, I opened the door up and was like, ooh, I'm not very comfortable in here, and then laughed.
Yeah, peace out.
So.
Is that
Okay.
a true thing right now
Here we
on the
go.
Instagram? Simcoe Deck says, yeah, I'm switching to Simcoe Decks and Landscaping. Is he serious? Are you serious?
I haven't been watching anything. Okay, we're
So there's a
15
big
minutes in, exactly nothing has happened.
big
on this
conversation
podcast.
about the state of the world and other markets and whether their restrictions are being lifted. So that's good. New Tech Wood says that he was right into that too. That was his era of basketball stuff there.
so
and
good.
he's eagerly anticipating episode 5, as we all are.
Yeah.
So good. So if you
Well,
haven't checked out The Last Dance on Netflix yet, check it out. New Tech, TMC D713. What is your favorite aluminum railing system? Should we leave that question for the railing episode next week? Let's do that.
No, why don't we answer it?
Tune in next week. Because if we get into that, we were going to do railing today and we weren't. Now we asked them for questions of what they wanted to hear for next week, and they gave us one, so that should be for next week. Tune in next week.
Fine.
Landscaping's allowed to continue, but decks are not.
Fortress.
That's what Simcoe County's doing. That's terrible. That's terrible. Anyway, what we're talking about today, 16 minutes deep, is what is happening?
Wait, give him a thumbs up.
What is
Oh, yeah.
Somebody's looking for a thumbs up. Okay, half thumbs for your questions. Today, if anybody's still with us in this podcast, we're talking about why, Wade? Why would you ever buy Fiberon decking?
Probably because you ran out of other decking.
You know what's... Holy smokes. Okay.
You just asked
You know
me.
what's funny is we play us up for 60 minutes and then do a big reveal on the announcement of the topic, but the
They've
title
already-
of the thing is
they've
just going to be
already
why
left.
would you ever buy Fiberon? Like,
Yeah.
it's no surprise.
People have already left.
So, Fiberon decking. Now, Fiberon decking is, we still call it one of the big 3 brands. I don't entirely know if that's 100% true anymore. I know that they are one of the big brands for sure. They were bought by Fortune Brands.
They're one of the
years
biggest.
ago. So they've definitely
one of-
got some of the
definitely
deepest
the
pockets.
biggest. For sure.
But there's some other
big
brands
brand.
that are moving a lot of decking nowadays too. But we consider them to be kind of one of the big 3, at least in our markets. They're very prevalent.
Certainly.
In other markets, maybe not so much. Everybody's familiar with the brand.
The market that we just moved into, Saskatoon, Saskatchewan,
Flooded.
Fiberon is the biggest. I would bet that
The roads are
Three-
paved.
3/4 of the lumber yards in Saskatoon don't even know what Trex is.
Zing.
They just everybody has Fiberon there.
Very heavy Fiberon in that market. So it's pockets, right? There's some places that just don't have stocking dealers of Fiberon, so people are a little bit harder to get their hands on it. But it's a big enough brand that pretty much everybody in the industry knows it. It's just a little bit, there's some pockets that don't have great distribution of it.
Certainly.
It's a great product. It's a great brand.
I
Tune
agree.
in next week for the railing. So how does it compare? We're going to go through this whole thing with the lineup, just like we do with these episodes all the time, and talk about each stage. Now, they made a lot of changes this year, and there's more changes coming. So if you are listening to this episode right now,
Wait, this year?
yeah, bro, you're going to want to hang on to the end of this episode. There's some good stuff happening at the end.
Pisses me off that you get all these emails, you don't tell me, and then you let me in on this information as it
you
happens.
found out the last podcast that this came out on. What? On the show. The Ultimate Deck Show.
Oh,
Which, if you haven't seen that, tune into
forgot.
YouTube and check that out too. But you got the news then, so it's the second time you've been surprised with it. Okay, so Fiberon, like everybody else,
just as new this time for me.
has a good, better, best scenario in their lineup. They do have a lot of lines. There's good, best, whatever. Good, better, best. Like they've kind of got a couple in each category, I suppose. And this year they're also one that makes both a composite and a PVC board. That has come super natural to me now. Composite. That's twisted.
I don't like it.
I don't like it either. But they're one of the few that makes, like, the majority of their lineup
yeah.
is composite.
Dinner or supper. We have 7 people in here. Tell them to go vote. Do it.
Finally, some drama on this podcast. I don't know what he's referring to, but composite and PVC in their lineup, right? And they do also make railing and a couple other, accessory product extension type products as well. But again, we're focusing on the decking. So quite a few decking options, composite decking options, a little bit of PVC options. Let's start from the bottom. Okay?
Like Drake.
Yeah, I knew. I thought you were going to go there, but I thought you were going to sing it. You were supposed to sing it. Started from the bottom. Now
I'm not a very good singer.
I know.
Unless I
That's why I
karaoke.
wanted you to sing.
When we karaoke'd on our last trip, that was amazing.
Yeah.
I was a good karaokeer.
You never
You
watched
should
that
see
back
it.
to know that for sure.
Huh?
You never you don't know that.
I absolutely
In
do.
your blitzed mind while it was happening, you thought you were killing it. My guess is I wasn't there.
Yeah, you weren't there, so you didn't see the people rush the stage and
I don't
throw
think-
bras. Man, it was crazy.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
Anyway, so
Joel was there. He'll
the
attest.
dive bar. Anyway, Fiberon decking. So Fiberon, they like everybody else have an entry level line, and we are big fans of the entry level line. So the name of this line is called Good Life. Now this year they split the Good Life line up as far as branding goes because they now call it Good Life Weekender and Good Life Escapes collections.
Correct.
So it used to be all just under the Good Life brand, and then they would say like these ones are solid colors and these ones are multichromatic, but now they've given them names, which is cute.
Fun.
So Good Life Weekender is a 2-color line that has just solid colors to it, a gray and a brown, and retails for similar price point to like a Trex Enhanced Basics. So a nice low price point, competes a little bit with treated lumber, but a very respectable entry level contestant because it's fairly durable, has decent traction, very attractive graining, is scalloped but not super deeply, and as a result of that,
My favorite.
you look like you were eager to say it, so I was just.
Yeah, you
I
took
was,
all the words out of my mouth. That's
well, no, but I thought you
I
were
was
itching
moving
to-
my mouth
I
around.
thought you were itching to talk about it, so I set it up.
What was
Lobbed
it?
the
No,
pitch
you-
in. Take the pitch, Wade.
I was going to say all of those things, and then you didn't stop. You
Oh
just,
well, you still haven't said it. I set it up. The
Yeah, and
pitch
then I
is
said it's my
hanging.
favorite. It's the best one in the industry. It
The
is
board. You're not. You're
it's
not.
the best.
You're not catching what I'm pitching.
Nope.
Cortex plugs. I thought you always like to bring up the Cortex plugs. This is your thing. Every time we talk about it, you're like, yeah, but it does And so I set that up, and you didn't.
Yeah.
You didn't take a swing at it.
I didn't.
So one of the few entry level boards that actually has the Cortex plug available.
Few? Can
Like
you
option.
name the other one?
Yeah, the rest of the Good Life line. No. What?
Is there another
I don't
entry
know.
level board that
Well, I
has
don't know.
Cortex?
Not to my knowledge.
Right, so that's not one of the few, it's the only. It's
Okay.
the only entry level board that has Cortex.
I guess it depends on how you define entry level board, but yeah.
Yeah. Starting price point.
Anyway, it's a scallop board that has Cortex, which is an anomaly. Most scallop boards don't have Cortex available.
It's incredible.
Their scallops aren't super deep, so they're able to drive the Cortex in there.
Yep.
We got a comment from TMCD713 says the scallop on Fiberon is horizontal opposed to a pitch like other composites. What does that mean? What is he talking about?
I don't know.
We need a piece of like I know the shape of it is horizontal versus pitch.
Yeah, it's
It's not
maybe
pitched
less.
back. I
Yeah.
don't know. What you mean.
Anyways, so the Good Life line, I like it for lots of reasons. Mostly durability, color variegation, and Cortex in an entry level line. So the color variegation has been challenged quite a bit by Trex Enhanced line. Like their Naturals line is really good variegation in that board as well. But it
Sorry.
used to be that Fiberon's variegation, like Beach House and Tuscan Villa and Bungalow, was like that was the best variegation.
Right.
And now Trex at an entry
I
level
went.
point.
I got lost in the Instagram thing, and I came back, and I was in a
staring at
Trex
you.
episode. Well, no, but and then you were talking Trex, and it threw me for a second. I thought I left. I thought I left my body and came back at a different time.
So
Anyway,
Fiberon's
so
entry level
they're-
board is just the strongest.
They're saying,
It's
look
the
at the
worst.
side of the grooves. Yeah, we get like cool thing about our showroom is the way we have our take home samples now is it's sideways. You can see the grooves. So I think he's saying is that instead of them being like, I don't know if this is a reason for the Cortex. I think it's the thickness of what's left in the board, but the scallops are sloped this way as opposed to this way, like TimberTechs are.
Right.
But Trexes aren't doing that.
Yes.
They're straight.
Yep.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Whatever. So Good Life Weekender has 2 colors in it, like we said. Price point, low. Warranty,
25.
25 years. Fade, stain, structural. So a good kind of standard warranty for a good quality composite board.
Yep.
Then you've got the Good Life Escapes collection. 3 colors, 2 browns and a gray.
Good.
Has some streaking in it.
30 year.
Not a, what do I want to say? Kind of a blotchy streaking. Like you'll go 3 feet of the board with not a ton of streaking, and then like a big dollop of darker color, and then so it's like it's not like continuously strewn throughout the board. It's blotched in.
Yep.
But it looks good. There's some character in it there for sure.
Yes.
That board, for whatever reason, I don't know, same scalloping profile, same embossing, same everything, 30-year warranty. You get 5 more years.
Because of the color.
Because of the color. Or because of the price point. So you're going to
You
pay...
said it was a value add for a price point.
You're going to pay 50 cents a linear foot or a little bit more over the weekender boards. Just for that a little bit of extra coloring.
It's fantastic.
And a little bit of extra warranty.
Still okay. Great.
Above that, we've got what we consider to be the medium better line, Sanctuary.
Yeah, it's their mid price point board.
Yeah. So there used to be another one in there too called Protect Advantage, which got discontinued this year. So you may still see some stuff out there about Protect Advantage, but it's no longer an active SKU or an active line. But Sanctuary, they've kind of expanded its reach. The distribution of Sanctuary was increased this year to all markets, and they also released a couple new colors in it. So last year they had actually pared that that line down to 3 colors.
Yeah, it was 4 the year before. They dropped espresso.
Yeah.
It was like 5 a few years before that.
Yeah. But
was
last
that
year they
color?
dropped it down to 3 colors,
to
one of them
3.
being new. So Jatoba was a new color. This year they moved Jatoba into a Home Depot USA exclusive color and brought in a color very similar to it, but tamed down, called Moringa, and then added chai. So now they're back up to...
And espresso's
And
back
brought
in.
espresso back. So now we're back up to 5 colors in that lineup. Now this one's not scalloped. Full thickness board.
Amazing.
15/16 of an inch. Its own embossing, its own coloring, which is more consistent than the Good Life line.
Mm-hmm.
And you get your warranty bumped up to 40 years on it. Cortex available, of course, because it's a full thickness board.
Yes.
The coloring on this line is really good. But not the same amongst all the colors, I don't think. Earl Grey and Latte have kind of their coloring, which is more subtle than a chai, which seems to, and Moringa, which have like more... Like chai and Moringa seem to have a different coloring process than espresso, Earl Grey, and latte.
Like you're talking about just how the variegation ends up in the board.
Yeah.
And so it's a lot more splotchy, like splotchy. It's just kind of like
Little like hairline streaks
randomly,
as opposed to more like smears of color
yeah,
in it. Like there's something different about them.
yeah.
But fantastic colors. That chai is going to be a winner. It already is.
If you
We're already
don't
getting
think
a lot
we
of attraction.
described that properly,
I was trying to avoid going back to the well.
you could watch a video on it because we're doing an awful job of describing it. This is like splotchy and streaky and
Yeah. It's really good.
yeah.
So
Okay.
we referred to chai as the banger of the year, that lineup. And apparently that word's caught on in circles.
And it's actually true. So we thought that when we brought it in, we were like, oh, this color is amazing. It's like, people are going to love it. And there's truth to that. We're selling it a lot, right? There's one in Saskatoon that went. There's a couple in Regina that have gone. I would say that it is probably, we'd have to look this up, but I think it's the second most popular color in the store right now. And that's not normal for a mid-price point board, right? Like we would sell more entry level,
Right.
typically.
Yep.
But I think the boards that have sold out of the store is most common entry level, low price point, and then second would be chai.
Right.
It's a banger.
It's a banger. Above that line, we get into what they consider to be their best of the best lineup. Now this one, they've got a few entries up here. So what they used to call the Fiberon Horizons line,
Yes.
and then they added the Horizon Symmetry line. Now they've decided that didn't have enough names. So now they call it Fiberon Concordia Horizons and Fiberon Concordia just Symmetry, or did they drop the Horizons in that one? I don't know.
I quit paying attention.
Look at their website. So this is the double cap. This
I
thing
didn't
is capped
think it needed
all the way
extra
around.
name.
Yeah, there's a lot of, it's a mouthful now to pronounce these boards. but-
Concordia, I was like, oh, right, like that. I didn't get it before.
Yeah.
Now I get it.
Yeah. So this is where in their lineup, because all the other ones we just discussed are 3-side caps. The
Yep.
grooves cut in afterwards.
Yep.
And on this line and above, it's full side capping. So you're all the way around the board. The embossing, the coloring is all the way around. So you can flip the boards if you need to.
Still cut after.
The grooves still cut in afterwards.
Yep.
Yeah. So there's a number of colors in the Horizons line, which is a smooth face, like very smooth embossing to it. Beautiful coloring.
Yeah.
Like the coloring is nice, sweeping colors. It's
That
very,
super
very gorgeous.
smooth surface is really good for like being able to slide off the deck.
Okay.
You can slide dirt off of there. You could slide grandma off of there. Absolutely nothing sticks to it. It's fantastic.
Slide grandma off there. Sorry, grandma, time to go. A little nudge.
You don't have to push that hard.
He's gone.
There's no resistance.
So that's the knock against the Horizon line, right? It is slick. It just is what it is. We tell the goods and the bads. So far, all we've told is goods about Fiberon. This is the bad. Like, it's slippery, that line. It's very smooth, which is like
Great
it stays
for washing.
clean really well, but especially when it gets wet, it's slippery, or a little layer of frost. It's very slippery. So that's the knock, but the coloring on it is like industry leading. It's beautiful
also
coloring.
scratches really easy.
Well, it shows them because it's such a smooth embossing on it, right?
Yep.
Any imperfections show because it's such a smooth, no distracting embossing on it. So whatever.
Yep.
The Symmetry line is the same profile of board, also four-side cap, groove cut in afterwards, but it's got a different embossing wheel to it. Instead of being super smooth, it's like hairline like hardwood. So very nice looking. Yeah. I don't know that I think the coloring's not as aggressive. Color shifting.
It certainly
a little
isn't.
bit more consistent.
Yeah.
But more realistic looking to hardwood than the other one.
Correct.
Horizon. Horizon's just, it's pretty in its own right, but it ain't wood. Like, you're not going to look at it and be like, oh wow, look,
You've tricked no one.
is it cedar? No, it's not. It's just that's plastic. It's really good looking plastic.
Yep.
So that's the difference between those two lines. But the quality is the same. The warranty, you're now getting up to 50 years. 50. Stain, fade, and structural.
That's got to be the largest wood plastic composite warranty in the industry.
To my knowledge, yeah. To my knowledge. And we might get fact checked because there's a lot of brands out there that we're not even super familiar with, but I'm guessing it's probably the longest. That's the end of their composite line. So quite a few options within that composite line. But then they also have their PVC line. Their PVC line is called Paramount. Now, this is another one, too, where over the years they've played with the colors, dropped them a little bit. It's down to 4 colors now. It used to be 6.
Yes.
But now they've got a single solid variegated color and then single solid color and 3 variegated colors.
Correct.
The coloring on these variegated ones is also very beautiful, just like the Horizon lines. Lots of coloring, very aggressive. Lots of people love it. The odd person thinks it's too busy. Traction on it is fantastic. The warranty used to be terrible. Warranty's good now.
Yeah.
The warranty used to be non-existent. It was you had structural warranty,
yeah, limited lifetime structure,
but no fade and stain warranty.
Mm-hmm.
Which in today's industry, with the brands that are out there competing for every dollar, was unexplainable as to why they didn't have a fade and stain warranty on it. They always claimed that it wasn't an issue, so then put a warranty on it.
Yeah, it sounded like they just hadn't done the research. They just hadn't done the testing on it, right? And so,
I guess I don't know what the problem
the
was.
tests have been done.
Finally, this year, they've now come out with a 50-year fade and stain warranty and lifetime structurals as well.
Perfect.
So it's their strongest warranty. You went from the weakest warranty in the whole thing as far as stain and fade goes to the best.
Maybe they just did this there, like
they just sprinkled a little fairy dust on it.
Boom.
So great. And if you're looking for something with traction, we were talking about how Horizons is really, really slippery and Paramount is really, really not. It's got great grip like most PVCs do, but it's even a more rough surface than most. Ton of traction on it. So that's good. And it has all the other characteristics of PVC. So lighter to work with, easier to cut, blah, blah, blah.
Yep.
All that good stuff.
I don't like the shoulder on it.
It's got a very aggressive radius edge on it. And some people don't like that. You and I are those people.
Yeah.
It
doesn't work.
It should be squared off more.
Yeah, it just doesn't work that well when you're doing, because a lot of people will use a PVC board as a picture frame, easier to bend, better with fasteners, and so there's like better traction. So on the edge of your deck, that's where you need the traction. On your stairs, you need the traction. And so if you're going to put the PVC board on as a picture frame, it would be ideal if it was a squared off shoulder, because then when it butts up against the end of the board,
square meets square.
Square meets square. As opposed to having this radius that ends up kind of giving this illusion of a bigger space, right? Because the curve starts so much sooner.
You have put some fantastic imagery in my head right now.
You're welcome.
Because I've
been known to be a wordsmith.
What you just said was that a lot of people use PVC on the picture frame because there's more grip and you want it on your stairs, whatever. But
so grandma's sliding across the deck.
Yeah.
And she hits the PVC and boom, she stays on the deck.
She does Horizon in the middle. You give her a push and then she hits the grip strip on the outside and goes ass over tea kettle and tumbles down
No,
the
she
stairs.
stays on. You
Oh,
don't
I
have
see.
to worry about railing.
Oh,
Grandma
you stop
stays
her.
on the deck.
No, I
and
thought
she-
her momentum was gonna like stick her feet and she'd dive down the stairs.
Right. Nope. Mm-mm.
Yeah, that was the imagery that got evoked in my mind, which
Funny.
was pleasant. So that's it, right?
That's it. It's a 35-minute episode, and only 10 of it was actual content.
It's not it.
Oh.
This is what I was telling.
I don't remember this
I'm
at
not-
all.
I'm taking my ball home and going home because I've
Exactly.
lobbed them up to you a couple times
No,
here.
exactly
You're not
nothing. I
swinging
don't
tonight.
remember any
The
of it.
bat's firmly on your shoulder,
Yep.
and you're like, nope.
You'll walk me today.
So,
That's
yeah.
the plan.
Yeah. So, not it. They're releasing a new. Nothing. You're blanking.
No,
on
I
this?
have nothing, man. I have nothing.
Releasing a new PVC line called Promenade.
Are you sure it was me that you were doing this podcast with?
Oh yeah, it's on video.
I'll have to watch that when I get home. I don't remember this at all.
I know, like, I legitimately caught you off guard the first time because I was like, right, you weren't here when they all showed up and told us about this stuff. But you for sure were surprised, like, you've heard this now before. So it's
I have to go get my memory checked now.
yeah, you're in trouble. So they're releasing a new PVC line. Now they're taking the complaints that people have had with the Paramount line and they're addressing them. So this new Promenade line is going to have a square shoulder. The coloring is going to be much like how many people can you piss off in one sentence? These boards are AZEK vintage line.
Oh boy.
There, now I've pissed off AZEK and Fiberon at the same time. Have you seen that? Oh, I shouldn't go there.
Nope. No. And then Trex is like,
There's
hey, wait, that's our idea.
Yeah. So, but that's the look they're going for. I guess you could also say it's very similar to the Horizon
I was
Symmetry
like, yeah,
line.
it's their Horizon line.
So
They're
very
gonna be
linear
awesome.
graining, 6 colors, fantastic colors. They look really, really great. I almost went Donald Trump on us.
You
there
should
again.
do it. Go ahead.
But 6 colors that look fantastic.
It'll be the greatest. It is going to be the greatest colors of all colors.
Priced a little
Nobody
bit above
will have better
Paramount.
colors.
About 10% premium over Paramount from what I've heard. So a little bit higher end, and they're going to keep Paramount around. I thought they might get rid of it, but apparently they're going to keep Paramount around as kind of their lower priced PVC, and then Promenade will be their higher priced PVC. But the colors look amazing.
That's a terrible decision.
I would love for them to just get rid of Paramount. If they're going to bring over a board that they basically took all the suggestions to how to improve Paramount and release that, then ditch the one that
When
you're improving on.
whoever it is that forces somebody in a position that can make decisions at Fiberon to listen to this podcast, here's why you should get rid of Paramount.
Uh-oh.
It is a high-end board. It is a premium price point. There is not a single person in the world that would spend $51,000 on a deck, and if the price went to $53,000, they'd be like, no deal. When you get to that price point, when you get to the premium price point, they then just pick the board they like.
Right.
And Paramount isn't going to be that board. If you've released a better board, better coloring, better shoulder, like nobody's going to pick that.
And so better coloring is subjective, and that's where maybe Paramount still has a play, right?
So
this
then
stuff is like the
make that
coloring's
color in the better shape.
that I can get on board with. Yeah, there's no doubt that the shape is better.
And the streaking, like the
And
graining.
a lot of the problems that they had, not problems, a lot of the complaints or suggestions they had before was that the surface of Paramount was too rough. And it is quite rough.
That
Which
was just
translates to
grammar.
good translate to good traction, but like when you're walking on it in bare feet, it's scratchy, and like walking on it socks and it
Hurts
snags
your
your
feet.
socks, whatever.
Sure.
Like it's just a bit rough, right? It's sandpapery. And this stuff's not supposed to be as rough. So, but they're great looking colors. I'll show you. Remind me after this podcast. I'll show you the picture. Mike just sent it to me today. I've seen these before, but he just sent me a picture, and I looked at it again. I was like, those are amazing. They look really good.
Well, that's fun.
So Promenade, I assume that it's going to have the same warranty. I assume it will be a 50-year/lifetime structural warranty on that line as well.
Yeah.
So, from what I understand, this has actually been available in the States on the West Coast for a while through one of their major distributors there. It was a board that was kind of made for them. They've just simply now released it to everybody.
Oh, it was like Sanctuary line in Canada
Kind of.
and Europe.
I don't know if they made some tweaks to it or added some colors or whatever, but Orpac is the distributor that used to be their board, I guess, but
Okay.
not anymore. So looks great.
Well, that's exciting. Good. More colors to stock. Can't
So
wait.
if we were to go through this, do we do this? Holy smokes.
I'm just the Robin, man.
So we always tell people ask us all the time, what's the best brand? And we don't answer that question. There's no best brand. Or they'll ask, what's your favorite brand? You're allowed to have a favorite brand. But we generally say, like, I don't have a favorite brand. It just depends on what you're looking for.
Pile of Bones is my favorite brand.
It's a good one. But it depends on what you're spending. Like on the low end, we really like Fiberon's Good Life line. It's at that price point against competitors. It's a great product. When you get up to the Horizons line, we both are a little bit hesitant to suggest it to people that might need the traction. If they say like, oh, if my parents are elderly, it's like, just a heads up. Like, this is pretty slippery. And so we're not huge fans of that line because of that. It's the coloring you're not going to beat. So if that's what matters, then nailed it. But
we talk about this all the time with one of the contractors in Saskatoon, and he thinks that that's the bee's knees, the Horizon line. And it's just like, how do you...
Well, some people will
think that. And he was like, he thinks that the color is the best, and I cannot argue with him on that.
Right. And so that's why there's no such thing as a best brand, because different things matter to different people differently. Chew on that.
We've installed Fiberon Ipe from the Horizon, Concordia Horizon
we've had
line.
people come back and say, like, it's really slippery. And we're like, yeah, we know. That's what we said.
But it's not a knock on Fiberon. It's just like, it is what it is. That board is not good, in my opinion. At that price point, you have better boards, more durable, better traction, and then coloring is coloring. But like the performance of the board, less expansion and contraction, at that price point, it's not the strongest one. At the price point of Good Life, I don't think that there's a better board in the industry. I think that they have that.
There we go.
Nailed down.
And that's why we don't say my favorite brand is. It's like, what's your price point? What's important to you? Traction first and foremost, because whatever. It's like, okay, well then here's a good option. Here's price points, blah, blah, blah. Yep. And if traction is one of the top things that they're looking for, then it just Horizon's not in the conversation. But Paramount sure is.
Certainly.
And if traction plus budget, like low cost, then Good Life's in there too.
Correct.
Does it have the best traction? No. Paramount's still way better, but it's better than other boards at that price point.
Yes.
So it, like I said, it's what's important to people, and then you kind of weed through those things to see. If somebody comes in and says, the most important thing to me, I don't care about traction. I'm not running around my deck. I go out there and I sit and I drink my coffee. What's important to me is I want it to be beautiful. I like really like warm colors and everything else. Then Horizons is it above anybody's board.
Yes.
Like then all of a sudden that's the greatest board.
Correct.
Amongst competitors, because that's the one that's going to have the most dramatic color shifting in it. But gotta ask what people want, man.
And to the Fiberon people that listen, I don't sell against it. We've sold 2 Fiberon Ipe decks.
Here comes the ass kissing.
No ass kissing. It's just like we've
Fiberon
sold
they want to do stuff with this with the podcast. They want to do stuff. They did, and then you crapped. You crapped.
They haven't wanted to do stuff.
Good news. Clean's easy. The crap will come right off because it's so slick.
It's true. It's true.
So anyways, moral of the story is Fiberon as a brand, fantastic.
80% of that line is amazing.
Yeah.
Of the company.
And even the one that we don't like because of the slipperiness, it's amazing if that's what you're after, if you're after the coloring thing. I just want to keep reiterating that because it's really, and it's got one of the strongest warranties. And a composite?
50.
Come on now. They got real with their warranties this year. Yep. Not only that, but like since they've got bought up by Fortune Brands, their marketing has become more aggressive. They've got an app now that you can download, Fiberon's app, that's an augmented reality app.
Awesome.
If you have a deck that you're going to replace and you're thinking like, oh, what color do I want to do? You use the augmented reality app on your phone, choose your color of decking. It augments reality and puts the boards onto your deck so you can see what it's going to look like. So that's fun. That's cool.
That's really good.
For contractors, they've got a super strong contractor program with some rebate structures in place. Like they take care of the contractors really well. You get a labor warranty if you're one of their higher end contractors.
Yep.
So yeah, great brand. Like I really like it. I really like Fiberon as a brand. So if you're looking at,
we've met a few of the people. They're good people.
Great people, great company.
And it was only, I believe that part of the reason it's so good is it was quote unquote a ma and pa shop until just recently, right?
Yeah. Kind of, yeah. Family business.
It's a fairly significant ma and pa shop. Yeah. but it was like had one owner and it wasn't corporately owned and traded. It is now with Fortune Brand involved, but I feel like that corporate culture is still very much like we're together as a team, we're a family, we should build this thing, right? And so
yeah, it's thankfully for us. Not that this means it's like this everywhere, but when the buyout happened, the people stayed the same. Anybody that we dealt with stayed the same anyway. They didn't come in and make wholesale changes that way, but they did make all those people's lives easier by doing more aggressive pricing and doing more marketing programs and rebate programs. All this stuff became, the people that work at Fiberon were excited for what was happening with this Fortune brands because they knew that they were going to be able to compete more strongly.
We heard about that takeover, the purchase or whatever, and I was laughing. I was like, oh man, that's going to be bad. People are going to be nervous. And it was interesting to see their perspective on it. It was like, no, it's going to be good. It'll be great for us. And it was like, well, usually you don't hear that when people are like buying out other companies. It's not, there's usually a lot of uncertainty.
Yeah. Right? You're like, am I going to keep my job? I'm getting bogged out and they're going to slim this thing down.
And the guys at Fiberon were like, nope.
I want to read this comment here from New Tech Wood again. New Tech Wood Canada says, love your honesty. And then we would gladly take reviews from you in the future. Be careful what you ask for. I'm kidding. What I like about that comment though is that like, yeah, we've always told people the value of this podcast is that we're telling you unbiased personal opinions. So feel free to disagree with us that Horizon is slippery. That's just,
you could be wrong if you want.
But the point is like, these are just our opinions. We're not going to hold back and misrepresent the truth if we honestly believe it. So yeah, we're talking about Fiberon today and Fiberon's going to be listening, but that's just we're just telling you our opinions.
Is what it is.
And so this is not a knock to say like, oh, they kind of crapped on one of our boards. That means they probably don't want to work with us. They don't like ours. No, it's not that at all. We've always told everybody we are going to tell our honest opinions. When people have come to us and be like, hey, can we do a podcast? We said, sure. But we're going to just like, the truth's still going to come out what we think, right? Like we haven't taken sponsorships on this podcast. People have offered. We haven't done it much. We did have our expenses covered to come down to Deck Expo last year with Deck Raiders and do a few episodes with them. So call that sponsor content. But the thing that we were very upfront with Jace was, listen, we were going to this show regardless, and we were going to do podcasts about this show, and we were going to talk about the things that we saw, and we're honored and very appreciative that you're going to bring us down to do some podcasts at your booth, and we're excited for that. That's going to be fantastic, but we're still going to talk about the other things we see at the show.
Yeah, we're going to sit in your booth. We're going to sit in the decorator's booth, and we're going to talk about Trex's fire bowls and their waterfalls. Yeah. And he was like, all good. We like what you're doing.
And he was good with it.
We like what you're doing. We want to be part of that.
And because then, when you're telling the good news about decorators or whatever, then people can trust that you believe it, because there's a ton of guys out there, well, not a ton, but there's some guys out there that are very clearly sponsored, and very clearly the words coming out of their mouth should be taken with a grain of salt, because they won't say anything otherwise. Yeah. So all we're trying to do is keep value in this podcast to make sure that when people listen to us, they can trust our opinions, because if we lose that, then what does this thing matter? Then it's just a big advertisement.
We're just trying to keep it real.
Provide value.
We're just trying to keep it real.
So thanks, New Tech Wood, for acknowledging that. Appreciate it. Fiberon, we love you. We love you. Your board's just a little bit slippery in that one line. Everything else is fantastic. Okay? That's it. Let's still do something together. It'll be great. And to that point, we are entertaining sponsorships. People often like, do you guys even do that? Yeah, of course we do. We've put a lot of time and money into this. If we can, earn back on this a little bit, we're willing to sell the spots, the advertisements, and we're willing to do sponsored episodes with that caveat in there that we will talk about your products, but we'll also give honest feedback on them. Mm-hmm. So there it is. If you want to do some sort of sponsored partnership or collaboration, reach out to us and we can have that conversation, and it'll be great for both of us. Anything else, Wade, before we sign this sucker off?
No.
Longest awkward pause in 76 episodes.
I was thinking.
I could hear that.
I don't have anything else. So do you want to talk about, sorry, I do have something. Do you want to talk about what else they offer? You said railing. Did you talk about railing?
I did.
Just composite railing.
So
no aluminum yet.
Probably the biggest two other categories that they play in is railing and cladding. Would be unless I'm not thinking about something else obvious, but railing and cladding
just decking.
Well, it has been. It was. So previously, their cladding offering was just their decking, but in their Horizon line, the double cap stuff, because it's being used as a rain screen, so they wanted the backside protected. It used to be just that, but they've come out with actual profiles now for cladding.
Yep.
Because before it was the decking. It was a full 1 inch thick. It probably didn't need to be for that application. It didn't need to support, people jumping all over it. It's cladding.
Yep.
So they've modified that a bit. So I think it's a category that you can now call its own. It's got its own product lines. And then they've done fencing as well. And I don't know how big of a category that is for them, but so there's for sure is these product extensions made from the same, coming out of the same factory for the most part, I think. It's all plastics extrusion. They're one of the big dogs as far as plastics recycling goes. They do all their own recycling, and like we've been there.
That. Yeah, we saw it.
That was as cool as the extrusion plant itself, going to the recycling plant and seeing, like, it's a great news story when you see brands like Fiberon or any of the guys, Trex or TimberTech, anybody who talks about how they recycle plastic and they're green about it. It's like, yeah, that's cool. 95% recycled plastic. Yeah, that's good. But when you physically see the mounds of garbage that did not go into the ocean or into a landfill.
When it becomes a tangible thing, right? It's like, because everybody talks about how they're so green and they're so recycling this, recycling that. But until you walk in and see a pile of plastic, it doesn't really hit you.
And what we saw that day was probably only a couple days worth of plastic. You know what I mean? Like there was bales upon bales upon bales of plastic, and they were hauling these things in, dropping them into the sorter, the cleaner, whatever that thing was, busting them open. And it's like, there's just a constant stream of plastic being recycled and turned into these beautiful deck boards that then get to extend their life for another 25, 30, 40, 50 years. Mm-hmm. And then who knows, maybe get recycled again. I don't know what happens to them after that. But
maybe becomes your kid's problem, not my problem.
Could be, right? But the fact that garbage has been turned into something as beautiful and long lasting as composite decking is pretty cool. Let's clean up the earth, make it prettier, and make your backyard prettier at the same time. Good. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. We always appreciate it. We'll be back next week with a railing episode because that's what we said we were going to do, right? So if you have any questions, shoot us a message. Follow us on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok even. Go to TikTok. That place is fantastic. See you next week.
You've been listening to the Ultimate Deck Podcast. Ultimate Deck Podcast. Brought to you by the Ultimate Deck Shop. Shop with us at www.ultimatedeckshop.com or check us out at all the social networks we can keep up with. Hit us up for any collaboration or sponsorship opportunities. Thanks for listening.